Previously on Twin Peaks.
TNT up a beach whale's asshole.
Dun dun. No! Who the hell are you? Shove your space whimsy up your ass.
Everybody got that?
Alright. Alright, gonna...
Hi, my name is Eno.
Alakazu! Oh. I'm sorry. That was a reflex.
We...
It had to be said, the Oregon State Highway Division not only had a whale of a problem on its hands, it had a stinking whale of a problem.
Is that a beached whale? Oh God, it's everywhere! What is it? Wait, but where's the red curtains? And the naked statue? And the jackass? So anyways, Yui gets backstabbed by Piter and gives a futile proclamation to the Baron. Arakeen has fallen. Paul and Jessica are tied up and taken by shuttle to the South Polar regions. Jessica notices Yui's diamond sign is scratched into the shuttle. Yui was also the one who suggested the idea to take Paul and Jessica away to the desert. Why they took the trader's advice confuses me, but so does this movie. Jessica notices that Yui packed them still suits. He's keeping his word, though it's a huge gamble he's taking with their lives just to hope that Leto kills the Baron. Well, one of the shuttle pilots is also feeling a bit depraved, and Paul tries using the voice to stop them. It's not good enough, though, as the pilot hits Paul with his gun, then starts being a disgusting pig. Paul tries the voice again, and this time it works. Paul instructs the buffoon to remove Jessica's gag. This results in Jessica using the voice to convince the guy to murder his ally, and then release Paul. Paul immediately puts the guy on his ass, and it was in this moment that I immediately gained more respect for this character. Paul takes the shuttle controls and tries to regain control of the vehicle. They scrape a mountain but bounce off it like I bounce off things in No Man's Sky. Back in Arakeen, the Baron is gloating over the Duke, who is barely conscious. The Baron then searches him for his ring, but Piter says that much like batteries, a signet ring was not included with his Duke. Leto starts remembering Yui's words about the poison tooth. The Baron asks Leto where his ring is, but Leto only says, "The water of my life for Paul." Then he starts crying, which makes the Baron nervous, so he backs off. Piter leans in to hear what Leto is saying, and is mistaken by Leto to be the Baron, resulting in Piter getting a blowjob so toxic that he fucking dies. On the shuttle, Jessica feels a disturbance in the Force as they realize that Leto is dead. Nice job, Judas. The Baron is slightly fazed by nearly getting a face full of pure suck, but once he realizes he's fine, he cackles as a Vladimir does when they disrespect a ceasefire. Paul can't maintain altitude, so aims for a small rocky area nearby for him to make his emergency landing. Paul and Jessica grab everything they need and immediately exit the downed craft. Paul then realizes that Yui gave Paul the signet.
1,000,000 deaths are not enough for Yui.
To be fair, Yui was acting out of desperation, and that makes people do stupid things, like believing a Vladimir was ever going to be honest with you. Well, Paul and Jessica make it to a rocky area and take a moment to rest.
Where are my feelings? I feel for no one.
It's called being a sociopath, Paul.
The second moon.
Ah, so it was the second moon of Arrakis he was talking about earlier. Still don't know the significance of it. Great to have confirmation, though. We stare at the moon, then suddenly the frame burns apart to show us the ass-rash creature from earlier, when he said he wanted to kill Paul. It turns out, though, that Paul is seeing this as a vision, and asks why he wants him dead. We then get a weird vision quest sequence. Sting appears again, but he's hotter now, mostly because of the flames.
Never one drop of rain on Arrakis.
We get it! It's a fucking desert! We get it! Jesus Christ, move on to something else!
Sleeper must awake. They will call me Muad'Dib.
Who is they, and why that name specifically? Okay, what is happening right now?
You wanted to know about my dreams. Well, I've just had a waking dream. You know why?
No, Paul, I don't know why. Why don't you explain it to the class for us?
The spice. It's in everything here.
It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Paul says that the spice is like a poison, and that Jessica knew it would change him, and with her teachings, it's expanding his consciousness.
You carry my unborn sister in your womb.
He knows.
Well, good for Paul for knowing. Okay, I have to confess something. I've seen this movie a few times already. It didn't make sense the first time I watched it, and I've been desperately trying to figure out what the hell is up with this scene in particular. All of these sound like important story beats, but it's conveyed in a way that makes me feel detached from reality. Like, none of this has any significance to me, but the movie insists upon itself that I care about this. Yes, I know what I said. No, I don't know what he meant by that either. My name is Crazy. Paul promises his dead dad that the sleeper will awaken. Paul puts on the signet and swears to kill the Emperor and the Baron. Paul is choosing the path of vengeance. Back in Arakeen, Raban rips Dr. Kyne's stillsuit apart and instructs the soldiers to take him into the desert to die. He then enters a prison where Thufir is being held. Okay, as much as I rag on this movie, I really do love how over the top the antagonists are. He found Thufir sitting on the floor genuinely funny. Now that's a villain who enjoys his work. Paul discovers that Yui left them blueprints for the weirding modules. If any engineers want to take a crack at deciphering any of that, have fun, but I'm pretty sure those are just lines and gibberish. Paul and Jessica are now in their still suits and prepare to run for a mountain of rock.
We have to get to that mountain of rock.
It'd be easier for them if they weren't in a desert of sand, because had they been in a meadow of grass, perhaps they could have located a forest of trees where they would find a lake of water. Sorry, mountain of rock just sounds so silly to me. It's a mountain. It's made of rock. Paul estimates that the mountain of rock is too far, but decides to use a thumper to attempt to divert the worm. Once it's in place, Paul suggests to walk without rhythm, ensuring that the worm will go to the thumper. They make their way across, and worm sign is visible in the dusty horizon. Out comes a worm with a loud roar as Paul and Jessica make a run for it. The worm is right behind them, but thanks to the power of inconsistent continuity, they were able to make it to the mountain of rock. The worm tries to get them, but is unable to break the mountain of rock. Paul can smell spice in the worm's breath, and after letting his new addiction distract him, the worm breaks through the mountain of rock, causing Paul to fall down, which is the most inconsistently shot thing, because what the fuck is this shot? He lands in front of the worm, but a thumper can be heard in the distance. And instead of grabbing the easy meal, the worm decides to go to the thing that's further away.
The worm. Spice. Is there a relationship?
Bro is acting like a nature documentarian after all this shit. Jessica asks why the worm left, and Paul informs her that somebody else has started a thumper, meaning they aren't alone. They venture into the cave to search for the others, discovering stairs carved into the stone. Then a flash of lightning reveals that the Fremen are hiding here in the rocks.
I will take the boy, man.
Why? What's wrong with the girl woman? So Paul pushes his mother into the guy, and he hides behind a rock while his mother takes care of the problem for him. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. So the chief Fremen tells the others to stand down, so they do. He then asks Jessica if they can teach them the weirding way, which the Fremen know about. Wasn't this tech supposed to be a secret? Unless Mapes told them about it off screen, I don't know anymore. Jessica agrees. One of them touts off about how this is the prophecy, just to make sure that the viewer knows that this is all part of the plan. Then the Usul bitch finally becomes relevant. Her name is Chani, which almost sounds like a brand of yogurt I buy at the store. Chani is holding a knife toward Paul, which seems to be a turn-on for him. I suppose Paul is into some weird hardcore shit. Chani brings him to the chief, Stilgar.
You have strength. You shall be known as Usul, which is the strength of the base of the pillar.
Oh, I see now. So when Chani asks Usul to tell her of his homeworld, she was of course referring to Paul. I'm still calling him Paul. Usul is to be his secret name, but he must choose the name of manhood. So Paul asks for the name of the mouse shadow on the second moon, which Liette responds is named, ready for this? Muad'Dib. So Paul chooses this name. They will call me Muad'Dib, because I will ask them politely to call me that. Jessica is given the name Sayadina, except I'm not doing that. Her name is Jessica in my script, and that's how it's going to be. With all that said, Paul and Jessica are welcomed to live with the Fremen. On their way down, they notice moisture in the air and find a supply of water. Stilgar says that there are thousands of water caches, but only a few know where all of them are. He says once they have enough, it will change the face of Arrakis.
Tell me of your homeworld, Usul.
Tell me of your homeworld, Usul.
No. You're not gonna get to me. You're not. Okay? I'm okay now. I have the context. I'm not angry anymore. Except maybe a little. But whatever, you know, it's water under the bridge, man. I wish I picked another movie. Raban starts eating a cow, raw, because of course he does, and the Baron is celebrating the deaths of the Atreides.
I place you in charge of Arrakis. It's yours to squeeze, as I promised. I want you to squeeze, and squeeze, and squeeze! Give me spice!
What the fuck do you want me to say here?
Never stop. Go! Go! Show no mercy! Get burned!
Oh man. If I drink enough of this, I'll forget I ever saw that.
Fate. Lovely fate.
No, stop! That's your nephew, you Vladimir! Okay, so moving on from that shit, the Fremen cross the desert as Stilgar tells Jessica that their Reverend Mother is dying and that she's been calling to Jessica through space and time to come to Arrakis and let her rest. This could have been an email. Just saying. So she drinks the water of Shai Halud or something to be judged if she is worthy. Jessica is worried about what this might do for her unborn baby, while Paul is literally just like, I'll get to do that sometime, but it'll be cooler. Jessica screams in pain as the water seems to be having an effect on the child.
Following the Bene Gesserit tradition, the old Reverend Mother surrendered her life as she surrendered her knowledge.
Oh no, she did it! Princess Sinistar, what did you do? So Jessica lives and Paul thinks he's the chosen one. Don't ask, I have no answers, because it turns out the water of life caused a premature birth of Paul's baby sister named Alia, who was born with all the knowledge and powers of a reverend mother, meaning this character is going to be awesome right out of the gate because of the power of drinking while pregnant. That's a joke, by the way. Don't do that. That should be obvious to most people, but I live in America. We're the reason warning labels exist on everything. Oh, we're back on Gaiety Prime. Cool. The Baron tells Fade that despite his age, Thufir is an excellent mentat, who is now his. Do not ask me about the cat inside the apparatus. I am trying to forget about it. So Thufir now has a heart plug, and I'm going to let the movie explain this part, because you won't believe me if I tell you myself.
A poison has been introduced into your body, Thufa. By milking this smooth little cat's body, you receive your antidote. It must be done each day.
Yeah. You had to hear it from the characters. Because if I had said this, you wouldn't have believed me. You wouldn't. You simply would not believe me if those words left my mouth. Sting talks about his persistent murder boner, but then the Baron tells him that because he's a Harkonnen now, he needs to play nice. Being a mentat sounds awful. Also, did anybody else realize he was a mentat before now? I didn't. I just thought that was a fashion choice for some goddamned reason. We see sand, then Paul and Chobani start making out because by this point in the movie, their relationship has developed far enough for this to be justified, is what I would say if that were true. So yeah, pretty sure they bang here. Then Paul enters a sanctuary filled with Fremen. These are the Holy Warriors. Paul gives a speech about how the Harkonnen are back, and that he plans to train them in the Weirding Way, so they can defeat the Harkonnen. But most importantly, he plans to halt all spice mining on Arrakis to take full control of the Omniverse's most important substance. Insert speech about putting your eggs in one basket here. Paul ends his speech by saying Arrakis will be the center of the universe. Later, Paul is teaching the Fremen the Weirding Way. Paul instructs one of the warriors to kick the obelisk, then to hit the obelisk, then
yell at it.
Then he tells someone else to cut the obelisk. And yeah, it's a big, hard rock. He then performs a demonstration of the Weirding module by blowing up the rock. This impresses the Sand People, as Paul says that he will train them to use the technology to brutally murder the Harkonnen occupiers. This is a movement that I can get behind. Going toward a fuck-up of Vladimir? I thought you'd never ask. The other warriors train with Paul, so that they may teach the rest of the Fremen. One of them asks for Muad'Dib, but apparently saying this was enough for the Weirding module to go off and destroy part of a wall.
My name is a killing word.
Look, I don't care if you got the fucking thunder gun. Stop killing the zombies in my train. Hey Captain, what's up?
Muad'Dib! Muad'Dib!
You okay?
Muad'Dib!
Hey, I saw that! Don't fucking kill my fucking zombies!
Paul then says that to lead the Fremen, he must conquer the worm. We then fade into the desert where Stilgar gives Paul this weird tool that is meant to allow him to ride the worm. Sounds like a sex thing to me. Paul then walks into the desert, where he does the pose on the box art, as he places the thumper into the ground to attract the worm. Shai-Hulud, specifically. Paul repeats his "fear is the mind killer" mantra as Stilgar notices that the worm is a big one, which obviously means that the prophecy is being fulfilled or something. The music swells as Paul runs alongside the worm, attaches his hook tool into the worm's hide, and rides his way up. He then hooks up a rope like a saddle, and the Fremen are so impressed, they rush in to climb the rope and ride the worm, which leads to this bit of electric guitar that, no matter how silly this movie is, manages to slap every time. Later, Stilgar presents Paul with his own personal guard, and then we're immediately thrust back into the desert to some warfare between the Fremen and the Harkonnen. A carryall gets Muad'Dib'd, armies rush into battle as Harkonnen are getting annihilated. Paul reiterates the plan we already know in his head with an inner monologue, because David Lynch was so proud of this idea. Harkonnen soldiers are being returned to Arakeen, only able to repeat the word Muad'Dib. Rabban decides he's over it though, and jams his thumbs into the guy's eyes, pushes him over, then asks someone else who Muad'Dib is. Princess Sinistar returns to talk about the war, which apparently went on for 2 years. The Fremen are really fucking up Rabban's shit, but he's too much of a wuss to tell his uncle about it. Also, Paul's sister matured at, quote, a frightening rate. And also, Paul and Chobani are still in love, because killing Harkonnens gives them both a turn on. We then see Paul and the Fremen attacking a group of smugglers to discover an old friend.
Ad klaxon ris blashblan arnik karnik.
So Picard is alive and happy to see Paul. You want to know who isn't happy, though? The Guild. They basically tell the Emperor to get off his fat ass and get the situation on Arrakis under control, and fills him in on the details of the whole Muad'Dib situation. If the Emperor doesn't resolve the issue, then the Guild threatens to put him in a pain amplifier. They're saying this to the Emperor of the known universe. Who the fuck are these people? It's the shadow government, man. The shadow government's coming. They're taking over. The goddamn globalists are taking over. Damn you, deep state! Paul discovers with his super consciousness that the Guild wants him dead because they're afraid that he will drink the water of life. The Emperor demands 50 legions of Sardaukar to Arrakis to genocide the planet. How does this resolve the spice mining problem in any way whatsoever? Killing off the workforce does not solve your problem, dumbass. Paul knows that the Emperor is coming and wakes up in bed with Chobani. Paul says he needs to drink the water of life, and Chobani says something to the effect of, "Please don't do that. You'll actually die, though." But Paul is all like, "Babe, I gotta go do that to fulfill my destiny or something." So back to the desert where Paul undergoes preparations to drink the water of life. Chobani says that she will love him forever and gives Paul the water of life. Now, if Paul thought his spice visions were wicked, the water of life takes him on an astral frickin' journey.
The worm is the spice. The spice is the worm.
Oh no, he couldn't handle the knowledge of that, I guess. Also, it's nighttime now, and there's a bunch of worms that don't want to attack anybody because of the prophecy or something. Paul cries blood. Jessica, Alia, and Agent 47 all get massive nosebleeds, and Paul floats in the place Agent 47 told him of. And he says that he now controls the worm. Paul then awakens, stands up, and proclaims,
Father! 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 The sleeper has awakened!
Paul then gives another speech.
Arrakis. Dune. Desert planet.
Yeah, it is a fucking desert planet. Good job, Paul. Everybody clap for Paul. A storm is coming and something. We're gonna rock this universe. The Emperor then arrives in this large craft that's about as big as the giant cylinders. Paul signals to begin their assault, and off the Fremen go. The Baron has also arrived in Arrakeen, and apparently the Emperor has seized Raban. The Fremen unleash many thumpers, and the Emperor's ship has turned into a Stargate temple. Paul says to prepare to set off atomics to break through the shields. And Stilgar reports that they have worm sign, the likes of which even God has never seen. The worms arrive to join the battle. My God, it's Pandora all over again! The Fremen board the great worms and ride them to Arrakeen. Meanwhile, the Emperor requests the Baron's presence. So the Baron shows up and gets his Apocalypse Now chef's head scene, except it's Raban's head. So the Emperor lambasts the Baron for sucking at his job, and in enters Alia, who seems to physically cause Agent 47 a bit of discomfort. Alia says she is a messenger from Muad'Dib. She says Paul is pissed, basically, and Agent 47 demands the child be murdered. But then Agent 47 has a panic attack.
Kill this child. She's an abomination. Kill her. Get out of my mind!
So Alia uses the voice to demand Agent 47 to tell the Emperor who she is. Agent 47 complies and says that she is the daughter of Duke Leto and Jessica, and sister of Paul Muad'Dib. So it all comes together. Now the Emperor is really pissed, and Vladimir begins to panic as his little house of cards falls down. A sandstorm emerges, and with careful timing, Picard sets off the atomics, sending falling rock and debris down from the mountain. Alia says that Paul is on his way with warriors.
Father, today I will avenge your death.
The cavalry arrives. The storm is reported to make launch impossible, and their shields are broken. The Emperor demands the Sardaukar be released, and Alia be tossed into the storm. But Alia uses mind control on the Baron, instructing him to wait for Paul. The Sardaukar rush to battle as the two sides finally clash in an epic showdown of ultimate destiny. Good guys, bad guys, and of course explosions as far as the eye can see. Alia keeps the Baron under her control as the Fremen Muad'Dib the shit out of the Sardaukar, literally crushing them for a legendary victory. Paul then uses his super consciousness to tell Alia to kill the Baron, and so she does, with what else but the Gom Jabbar. The Baron spins out of control as a hole is shot through the wall, and the Baron is sucked out from the Force, where he meets his end in the belly of a worm, where he will know the true meaning of pain and suffering after being digested for thousands of years. Just like a real Vladimir should. Victory is achieved, and the Fremen are now in control of Arrakeen. Paul surrounds the Emperor and demands that the houses of the Landsraad get the fuck off their lawn, and the Emperor gets all pissy about it. Oh hey, Princess Sinistar actually came back. I love reunions.
Run, coward. Beware, I live.
Anyways, the guild tells the Emperor to shut up. Paul then tells Agent 47 she's a bitch compared to him, essentially, because he found that place she told him about. Agent 47 is also pissy about it, but Paul tells her to shut the fuck up, because he can kill with a word. Sting thinks this is stupid, so Paul orders for someone to give him a knife. Picard begs Paul to let him do it, probably because the Harkonnen remind him too much of the Borg. But Paul's got this. Sting gets a knife, and the two are locked in deadly combat. Thufir is also there, watching as the two warriors battle. Sting manages to knock Paul over, but instead of taking advantage of the moment, he just jumps around like a moron, yelling about how he's gonna kill him. So do it. Because he didn't do it, though, Paul gets back up and continues the fight. Sting gets another advantage, though, but Paul remembers the speech from his former master about how you must bend like a willow instead of being firm like the mighty oak. At least, I can only assume that's where he's pulled that from, because it just comes out of nowhere, really. So down they go as Paul manages to drive a knife into Sting's neck. But that's not enough for Paul, so he Muad'Dibs all over him so hard he breaks the floor. Everyone is shocked by this, as Princess Sinistar explains through voiceover that Paul became the hand of God and has fulfilled the prophecy, and that he brought peace wherever there was war, love where there was hatred. They give him a nice cape, and Paul decides he's going to Muad'Dib up some water for Arrakis, effectively making galactic history and demonstrating his might as a god.
And how can this be? For he is the Kwisatz Haderach.
Ta-da! We did it! Took 2 whole videos, and I had to sacrifice doing Star Wars this year to finish it, along with several delays, but we made it. And look, my eyes are red again. It's about time. Well, that was Dune, so on to my thoughts. Honestly, this movie is super fun, and I love that surreal otherworldly feel it tries to go for that only David Lynch could have imagined. The characters all have unique personalities from each other, and they had the perfect cast to perform them all. The biggest standout being that fantastic villain, the Baron. His over-the-top evil performance is unforgettable, and the actor truly understood the mission statement when bringing this character to life. Now, unfortunately, because of how confusing the story is for people who haven't read the books, it's really difficult for me to recommend this to most people, as I don't really see them understanding most of what is happening. But the movie does succeed at the sense of scale, awe, and intrigue of a distant future that feels truly alien to those of us in the present. I may not know what's going on, but it feels big, and it felt epic. I might gripe about the nitpicky stuff, and maybe the books explain things more to make things make more sense, but I have ADHD and I can't sit still long enough to read a book. I wanted to do a segment with Barry on the book, but I don't think we're gonna have time for that segment this time. But I'll save that for a side video if you guys really want to hear about that topic. Until then, this is the Captain, signing off. Ah, it's back again! John, get in here, bring the keys! We're gonna nuke this son of a bitch!
No, stop! That's my ride!
What?
Yeah, I'm renting it from this guy.
What guy?
Hello again, Wolf.
Oh, god damn it, you ballless nudist motherfucker!
Sorry to surprise you with a visit.
Well, you missed Halloween, so I don't know why you're even here.
I'm looking for revenge after you actually shot me.
You're a demon! Your limbs grow back! You're like a starfish! Wait, are you a starfish?
No, but it still stings like hell when you get shot in the face with hot plasma.
Can I have the keys?
What? Oh, yeah, hang on. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't scratch it. I'm here to carry out my ultimate plan, and I couldn't execute it during Halloween. It simply wasn't the right time for it. Behold! A radio with a broken stop button.
That's your big revenge plot? A broken-ass radio?
The radio is nothing. Until I put this tape in. Well, I won't waste any more of your time, so I'm just going to leave this here. Goodbye, Captain Wolf.
I should make sure that isn't a bomb. No. No, god damn it, no!
You get what you fucking deserve, Captain Wolf! Wait! Wait! You're supposed to wait for me! Damn you, Oregon!